All right, so one of the movies I went to this weekend was Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan's biopic about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb. It's a true story. It deals with both the life of Oppenheimer leading up to his work at Los Alamos. It also deals with life. It deals with the Trinity tests, the testing of the atomic bomb, the dropping of the bombs in Japan, and then the after post-war period where Oppenheimer's reputation is called into question, his loyalty. There's these hearings, the whole sort of courtroom political drama plays out. Nolan is very Nolan. He's very Nolan-esque here. We jump around in time a lot. Sometimes the different timelines are indicated based on color or black and white photography. So in the past timeline it's all in color, and then in the flash forwards it's in black and white. But it's not always the case. Sometimes the forward timelines are also in color, so it gets a little confusing. The structure of the film is designed to sort of, I guess, set up a twist. There's a twist in like who's actually kind of behind the smearing of Oppenheimer. And anyone who knows the history, of course, won't be surprised. I think the problem for me is that anyone who doesn't know the history, I feel like it's going to be hard. Like, at least for me, it was hard for me to care. Like, when this twist is revealed, the sort of the truth behind what's going on with Oppenheimer and these hearings, it's like, because I don't care that much about the characters and their relationships, because that hasn't really been set up very much prior to this. I'm just going to go into spoiler territory. There's a man named Strauss, pronounced Strauss, played by Robert Downey Jr. He is being confirmed for a cabinet post. He has been involved with the nuclear program in high-level positions and has had a fraught relationship with Oppenheimer, someone who he's publicly supported, but behind the scenes, out of the public eye, has tried to undermine with these closed-door hearings designed to deny Oppenheimer his security clearance. And so throughout the movie, we see these hearings take place, but we don't know until basically the last third of the movie who's behind them. And it's set up to kind of be a shocking revelation, or, sort of a twist, like, oh, this guy who seemed like he was on Oppenheimer's side is actually trying to destroy his reputation. I think the problem with the movie for me in that regard is that I don't feel like that Strauss and Oppenheimer's relationship was developed very much throughout the course of the film. So when we learn at the end, towards the end, not the end, but in the third act, that he's the one doing this, and it sort of all comes to light, like, it's interesting, but I feel like there's supposed to be kind of it's supposed to be a bigger moment, and it sort of fell flat for me. The movie itself is very well made. It's, Cillian Murphy's fantastic. Everybody, Robert Downey Jr. is great. It's great to see him really act again, acting his ass off in this movie. So many of, there's just a ton of famous people in the movie. It's like Asteroid City. Asteroid City and Oppenheimer, two movies about scientists in the desert, with a star-studded cast filled with, movie stars in small cameo roles. I was definitely, like, I would say that watching this film, I was fairly mesmerized by it. It was an engrossing picture. I was pulled in and drawn in. But as a character study or a biopic, I was left cold. So on the one hand, like, the visual storytelling, the history, just the cinematography, the music, all of that was engrossing and enrapturing at times. But then it sort of also felt like we were supposed to be feeling all this tension and all this buildup. And, like in the hearings at the end, they have this like overwhelming music and it just screams tension. But the actual events of what's taking place, I just didn't care about very much. Like, yeah, it was interesting to see that, these people tried to take down Oppenheimer. But it was hard to really get a feel for who Oppenheimer really was. Like, the movie just, it doesn't explore the man as much as you would think, and especially with such a great performance from Murphy. You would think that this movie would by the end of it, I would have a real strong sense of the man, and yet I don't. And I don't have a strong feeling about him or about these occurrences either. And I'm fully admit that this may just be me. Like, we all we all vibe with things differently. Like, what resonates for me may not resonate for you, and vice versa. And I think this is a well-made film. I do think that more could have been done to get us to care about the relationships between Oppenheimer and Strauss, for one, but also like Kitty, Oppenheimer's alcoholic wife, who's just kind of like there so much of the time, and then kind of like pulls out her tough gal, hearing woman persona all of a sudden. I don't know. I feel like she's very underdeveloped. Overall, I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I saw it in the theaters. The actual bomb, which was a practical effect, was extraordinary to behold. It was a beautifully shot scene, and the sound wave coming in afterwards, just like knocking people back, was awesome and stupendous. And there was a lot of kind of great moments throughout this film, and as a collection of great moments, I really enjoyed it. As a story, where I'm drawn into characters and what their choices are and how they react. And in that sense, I didn't love it. It was just kind of hollow. It has a great ending, a haunting ending. Certainly the implications of this horrible creation built out of necessity in a time when could have been much worse if the Nazis or the Soviets had built one first. It's a grim subject matter, and I do think it was a well-made movie. But I think Nolan's insistence on jumping around timelines, in like overplaying some of the drama and underplaying some of the human components, I think that it ultimately is not. It's just not quite. It doesn't quite do it. I'm a little surprised at how well this movie is doing with reviews. I'm a little surprised at how many people want to see it, given its subject matter. It's not really like fun action movie, crazy Inception or sci-fi Interstellar or superhero Dark Knight. All these other Nolan films that are a little more, that seem like they would have more mainstream appeal. But I'm glad to see people are interested in history. It's a great thing to learn more about our history and the history of the scientific minds that have changed the world, for better or worse. Oppenheimer's a fascinating guy. I guess by the end of this movie, I felt like I knew more about him, but had no idea who he was still. So, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I just posted my Barbie movie review, which I also had mixed feelings about. But that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to go to the movies, to watch a movie like Oppenheimer, watch a movie like Barbie, and they make you think, and they make you ponder, and what works, what doesn't work, what's missing, what could have been done better. And I think, it's as fun as it is to see a movie that you just gush over and you love every minute of. It's also fun to see movies that make you question things, or that make you think, well, this I would have done differently, and here's why. So, what do you think of Oppenheimer? Did you also watch Barbie? Did you do the Barbenheimer thing? That was some clever ass marketing, was it not? Good job, Warner Brothers. That was great marketing. Anyways, okay. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.